The Sentinel is known to be reliable, fearless, disciplined, consistent, courageous, motivated, and skillful.
So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances.
All these qualities start from the mind. Your mind can be your worst enemy or your most powerful weapon.
The world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft.
Is this the dagger?
Learn how to achieve greatness and tap into the Sentinel mindset.
This episode is brought to you by The Arena. The Arena focuses on helping law enforcement and security professionals achieve their ultimate work experience, curriculum, and fitness goals. Visit thearenatoronto.com.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this amazing, beautiful day. I have someone that I'm super excited to have on this show. Someone that actually eons ago, it almost is, had me on his show, and we've actually done quite a lot of things back and forth on each other's platforms. I'm talking about the one and the only Byron Rodgers from California. How you doing, bro?
Hey, what's up, you guys? Hey, it's an honor, man. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be hanging with you, man. It's been good to do things over the years, man. It's good people, though. That's the main thing, man. That's what brings us all together. You guys have been supportive, and we're being, and you know what I mean, vice versa. So it's such an honor.
So, Byron, I think just for those that are tapping in, we always get new listeners that jump in and trying to find out who you are and what you're about. Why don't you just give us a little bit of background for those listening, who you are, what you do, and just I'll share my 2 cents before you do that. Byron has been an impact player in the EP world. An impact player, I like to call him. He's also someone that I would say that has an incredible heart, and that is a very important value for me. Personally, is the heart of an individual and what drives them to do what they do. And the word protector, man. There's so much things, Byron, that you have said to me over the years that have now resonated. The word protector is so alive and well in the conversation of our organization. That comes from what you exposed me to. So why don't you do the world some justice, bro, and just tell them what you are, who you are, and what you do.
I love it, man. Thank you so much, man. It's such an honor to hear the impact and stuff like that, you know. And so Byron Rodgers, I'm a protector. I'm a protector by nature and by trade, right? So as a young man, I always asked my Heavenly Father, you know, how I knew I was a warrior. So I was always like, well, how am I going to be a warrior for good? You know, it's always kind of looked at as a bad thing. And, you know, on this journey, he's always given me a mission, something awesome to do. And I've really seen how warriors can serve and how it's one of the highest acts of service, right? So before I go into a rabbit hole, I got into the Marine Corps. I was an 0351 with 3-1 Lima Company weapons platoon, popped over to Iraq twice, got out of the Marine Corps. And before I got out of the Marine Corps, you know, some say, you know, I didn't choose the game chose me. And that's really literally what happened. You know, by the grace of God, I ended up on the most traveled executive protection detail in Southern California at age 21, right? By the grace of God, that's a whole nother story. But we hit 60 some countries that first year. And so I stayed at that tempo for about 7 years, going to, you know, 40 to 60 different countries, hanging on to that client for 7 years. If you guys know the game, you know, that's good. That's a feat in and of itself. And then wanted to live a little bit more of a normal life. So I ended up starting to chase the pager. So I started chasing the pager in Cali, did the domestic contracting move where, you know, you get on with 7 different companies, they send you different contracts, different jobs, and you just start working everything in the EP space. Moved down to Florida to be closer to my father and did the same thing. Started as a bouncer, worked my way back up to the high levels of executive protection on the East Coast in Florida, chasing the pager, and then ended up coming back to Cali. You know, I guess I'm just a Cali boy at heart in some ways. I ended up back in Cali, and then my company, Bravo Research Group, was born. Client brought me in-house and was like, I want you to be my guy. And that was the kickoff of it. And then I wrote a book called Finding Meaning After the Military for veterans or anyone in transition into the 1st Civilian Division. And they got a master's in psychology. And then I started the Protector Nation, which is tactical training company, specializes in self-defense for everyone and anyone. So that's everyone from single moms all the way up to, folks that can't tell you their backgrounds. Come out. We do an interdisciplinary weekend, 250 to 475 people, train multiple modalities, 7 instructors, high-end instructors come out. It's amazing. So Protector Nation, we have our own social media platform, online learning platform. And then I got into the League of Executive Protection Specialists, which is my executive protection school, one of the top schools in the nation. With every course, we offer ongoing mentorship and networking. We have another social media platform for our guys there. We do our careers together to ensure our patrons' success. It's more like a brotherhood. So those are really kind of my 3 primary endeavors now, which is, just making the industry a better place. I have 2 podcasts, the Executive Protection Lifestyle podcast and also the Protector Nation podcast. One's industry facing, one is everybody facing. So now to bring it all home, I'm a protector that believes that protectors are the white blood cells in the body of humanity, right?
That's
Protectors stand against evil. And so I multiply protectors in the world to help make the world a safer place.
I love that, man. And you captured that perfectly. And by the way, for anyone listening, if you want to get an even more in-depth, we did a special on Byron last year, Beyond the Armor, where we dedicated a good 45, 50 minutes. It's a documentary style feature. You definitely want to watch that, and you're going to get a lot of meat and potatoes, even more. So I'm always fascinated, Byron, by like your story, but I'm even more fascinated by the work that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. These training, I'm going to say, environments that you put together, and I've been to a couple of them. I love going out to them for networking, for experiencing what you've been able to do. For example, with the whole setup in Arizona, man, has been absolutely incredible. And one of the big reasons why we wanted to kind of connect today is because you have the Protector Symposium 6.0, aka Apocalypse.
Yes. It's so good.
So I always have people, Byron, that come up to me and say, hey, what do you recommend? Where should I go? Where should I train? And, for me, I don't like to send anyone to anywhere unless I've experienced it myself. And, when I came to the very first one, which was 4.0, I believe, was that the one in Miami? Was that 4.0?
Yeah, that was 4.0. Yeah. On 6.0 now.
Yeah, that's right. That was my first taste. And I mean, I remember I came down with some of the guys here and we were just blown away. Everything about it was fascinating and life-changing. That's the way I'm going to say it. So to me, what I think it's important when you're putting out this stuff now for coming up in October 6th to 8th in Arizona, the Protector Symposium, I think it's important to understand what exactly you're going to experience. Okay. You're not going to see someone talking with some slides in the background and that's it. It's a wrap. You're getting an interactive experience. So Byron, tell the world, right?
Yeah.
What exactly is the Protector Symposium 6.0 and why you even had the idea to say, let me just put this together?
Yeah. So real quick, man, the Beyond the Armor podcast, I just have to say, one of my favorite podcasts I've ever done. I think I actually get choked up. I can't remember the last time I actually got choked up. I remember I had to pause for effect real quick. So tremendous podcast. And I just thank God for being able to tell that story and surviving all of it. But so check that out, guys. The Protector Nation, right? The Protector Symposium specifically. It is really about community. It's really about community. It's really about solving the problem that good people are out there every single day and they don't really know how to protect themselves. They don't really know how to protect their family, or even private security professionals that are like, man, what do I need to know? What do I want to know? I created, by the grace of God, we created this event where you can come and you can learn from 7 of the top instructors in the world on various topics over the course of a weekend. And you can get a certification you can't get anywhere else because these guys, it's every single one of these is literally a once in a lifetime training opportunity. You're never going to get to train with every single one of these guys. You're never going to get the cost. If you were to price out training with every one of these guys and the travel and all that, forget about it. Right. So I wanted to create something new that the industry had never seen. And, I've always been about really chasing culture. How can we trace really amplify the protection culture in the world. And so that's really what I was going after. So when you come to one of these things, you get Friday, which is in the auditorium. The main big secret about protection is that 90% of it really is the soft skills. If I can teach you how to move, if I can teach you how to run a risk assessment on your life, on your pattern of life, if I can get you to live a safer pattern of life, if I can get you to realize how to recognize problems, when to implement certain principles, this is all conversational. So I was like, how can I get these people what they really need to keep themselves protected? Friday is the ology, the study of every single one of the instructors' art forms they're going to be teaching. And you're going to get that teaching in an awesome movie theater. It's extremely comfortable. But the thing is, this is when you start to unleash the culture, and you're around a few hundred other like-minded people, professionals that just want to make the world a safer place, make their world safer. It's so you get this family feeling, right? And so that's what Friday's all about. And then we go out to the field Saturday and Sunday, and you'll get an opportunity to train with 4 different instructors. So you start off I break you into 4 different sticks. Maximum capacity for these sticks is 15 people per squad, right? So we take you from one instructor in the morning, 5-hour training session, 5-hour training session. You get to your next instructor in the evening. And then the next day you have 2 more instructors. And then we have the award ceremony. We got bonfires at night. We got dinners, all these things. And you spend a weekend just training and getting better together. One of the things I always like to talk about is this is the place for you to be a white belt. One of the biggest, it's a safe place. It's the dojo. This is where you come to ask your questions. This is where you come to learn. This is where you come to not be the cool guy that knows everything, right? The culture is just amazing. Everyone is there to be a professional student. And so like it's such a great environment for learning. And that one of the biggest compliments I've ever gotten was when, at the end of the event, I'll have like a single mom, like 110-pound single mom come up to me and be like, this changed my life. Thank you so much for putting this together. And then I'll have a really cool guy, who's tougher than me, walk up to me, who can't tell me his background. And he'll be like, hey, bro, this was solid. This was amazing. The instructors, high level guys, they meet you where you're at. And since it's a high touch environment, because you're in a smaller class, they can get you what you need. And we always have a savage card, a savage lineup of some of the best instructors in the world. So, it's really about creating a community, and it's really about getting you the skills you need to protect yourself. And we have a social media platform to support that, so the event never, ever ends. And you get the download replay afterwards. You can like force your kids to watch it, all that stuff, man. So that's really what it's about, man. The protection community.
And Byron, I've actually been witnessed to the testimony of an individual after he has done the 3 days. And I remember we captured some footage of that as well, where people basically said, we had some Canadian brothers that came down as well. Okay. And I remember, and I still connect with those guys because I met them there. And that's the beautiful thing, just from the most basic level. Let's not even forget the training and what you're going to get poured into. It's the fact that you're meeting people that are like-minded, that are all coming in, and you start creating this family bond with these individuals.
You really do.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And then you leave like your best friends because you've just come out of war together.
Yeah.
And you're just leveled up. It's an incredible experience. For those that have never experienced that, you have to experience that.
Yes, 100%. It was such a beautiful event, man. We were handing out the certificates at the end of the thing. And it was just people being like, this changed my life. Like, I'm looking at the world differently. The relationships I made. And it's sad because it's like, you don't even want to leave. You just want to keep training. And I feel like we can take over a country with these people by the time.
Right.
So yeah, man, it's there's nothing else like it. And every single one of them is a once in a lifetime training event. And I just love being there amongst everyone, hanging, being available. And just clicking off and I also go through the courses with you guys. I'm side by side with you on a lot of them, learning. Maybe you'll choke me out, I don't know, but maybe we're all trained, man. It's so good. And it's not like if you've never done any of this before, I know there's always a little hesitation there. If you've never done anything like this before, let this be your first taste of the tactical community and learning and culture, because it's such a safe environment for that. Right. So yeah, man. the
Yeah,
Protector
I love that. I love that. And Byron, the thing is this: what you also have so much topics every symposium that are very interesting topics. Can you list a couple of topics that are going to be that are going to be at this session here, just so people can understand what exactly you're going in on? Because again, it's a wide spectrum of topics.
Right. Yeah. So the cool thing about the symposium is you can always purchase the replays through our Protector Symposium library. So you can go online on our online learning platform and you can watch the 30 some instructors that live on that platform, and you can learn all the different things. Anything from CCW operations and all the way up to behavioral profiling and everything in between, right? And so there's a huge value there. This year, because of what's going on in the world, the instability, the perspective of social unrest, like if either presidential candidate wins in the United States, there's a probability for some unrest, right? Like they're talking about pandemic number 2. Like there's no way to realistically look at the future of what is happening in the world and think it's just going to be peachy keen, or even the way it was yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. So I wanted to really create kind of a hybrid event that has still the tactical prowess of our events. You're going to learn these hard skills, but then also I wanted to mix in some survival stuff, some risk assessment stuff, some if you have to bug in and you have to button down in your house, you have to stay in your house, what do you need to make sure you have to survive? If you have to roll out, what do you need to make sure you already have packed so you can throw it in your car so you can get out? Because, we got half the world on fire right now. Natural disasters are at all-time highs. So
that's right.
The coming card, my man, is we have Clint Emerson, right? Legendary Navy SEAL. Wikipedia. He's done a lot of spy work. He's done a lot of things for a lot of corporations. He wrote the 100 Deadly Skills book and multiple different 100 Deadly Skills, different survival things. But he's going to be focusing on risk assessment. So like when you look at your life, what is your risk profile and what do you need to get prepared for? Do you have a lot of violence in your neighborhood, or do you have to prepare for fire, earthquakes? How do you do that? Like, where do you start? How do you assess risk in kind of a macro and micro way, right? So when you're walking around the world, how do you assess risk, right? Is going to Disneyland as safe as you think it is? Like, how do you understand what risk you have? So this is like the foundation of every security detail. You get a new client, I'm gonna give you a risk assessment. We're gonna address those risks. We're gonna mitigate those risks. This is the foundation of living a safe life. So he's one of the best in the business. Look him up and you'll see that he's a legend. So then we've got John Burke, who is the first Gracie. You guys, I'm sure you all know about the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu family. They're the family of Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah. He's the first American United States black belt. He's been training, he's been training VIPs for a few decades. He sent me his client list. It's a page long. He's rewriting the hand-to-hand curriculum for multiple agencies right now. If I can say that. He's an amazing human being. He's an amazing instructor. The way we've had him out to our hard skills intensives where we train executive protection professionals is the safest and most effective way that I've ever seen hand-to-hand tactics be taught to make sure everyone actually absorbs the material and walks away with something. He has his own system that's what he's really implementing with different agencies. That he's going to be showing us. And it's just a few things that you're going to walk away with, a few moves to make you much more potent in a hand-to-hand engagement that you can leverage. You can leverage skills and tactics rather than have to rely on strength and athleticism. If you have them, great. But if you understand the skill set, you can do a lot more. You have more leverage, right? So he's going to give people some hand-to-hand stuff. We have one of my all-time favorites. He's been back for like 3 or 4 of them. Craig Douglas.
Oh, yes.
South Narc, man. I love this. You were there with Craig Douglas.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Craig Douglas is a gentleman. He's a dangerous gentleman, aka South Narc. He's a narcotics officer who has a few courses in the tactical community that you don't see very often. He has one on how to fight in a car. After going through this course, fighting in a car is like a superpower, bro. If you I don't care what martial art you do, if that person knows how to car fight and you don't know, you will get crushed. I've seen the jiu-jitsu guys, all the guys get in the car and try to do their stuff. if you don't know how to fight in a car in a 360-degree bubble, right? It's a whole different game. So Craig Douglas is going to be there, and he's going to be teaching one-man CQB. So what's the reality? Active human threat, workplace violence. How do you move through a structure with a firearm to increase your chances of survival, right? So solo structure movement is what he's going to be teaching you. And this is relevant to everybody who goes into environments that have other people in them.
Right,
So,
exactly.
and then finally, we have another infamous guy, Ed Calderon.
Yes.
The one and only Joe Rogan podcast. Look him up. Ed Calderon was an agent, law enforcement, federal agent in Mexico, one of the most sophisticated battle spaces the world is seeing right now, fighting against cartels and things like that for years. So he has a really, really in-depth understanding of modern warfare, modern guerrilla warfare tactics. He's had to fight against them, and he's had to implement them in real time. It's a battle zone down there. So what we brought Ed in for this year, and he's been with us for like 3 of them as well, is what we're going to call urban disruption. What do you and your family do if there's a larger force moving down the road, if there's social unrest and people are trying to dominate your space, or trying to come into your home, or whatever it is? How do you defend your family? How do you start a gang? How do you, what kind of things can you do with what's in your home right now to make your home a hard target and your family a hard target? Urban disruption with Ed Calderon.
Nice.
So that's, but wait, there's more.
There's more.
You've got one of the most important courses, I think, in the world for everyone, because you all do this today. You will do this today. It's in the top 5 causes of death in the world, which is driving. So we have, we are going to be doing a protective driving course with none other than Rick Sweeney, who's the training director at my executive protection school, the League. This course is unlike any other driving course you've ever gone to or had access to, because not only do we teach you vehicle dynamics in SUVs, which is how to get at least 80% of the performance out of the vehicle. Right now, you don't know how fast you can take a turn in your car and not flip over. You don't know. There's things you don't know about your vehicle that if you were armed with that information, you'd be much more effective. Oversteering, understeering, but then we kick it up a notch to the highest level of driving training available to civilians that we're aware of in the world, which is contact driving. You will make contact. We will teach you how to car fight. I will pit you. You will try to pit me. I will come up behind you and knock your car off the road. You'll have to learn how to defend yourself. This is relevant for road rage, controlling your vehicle. If you're getting into an accident, you'll get into a rolled vehicle. We will roll you over in our rollover vehicle. We will show you how to ram through a barricaded vehicle. You will ram through our cars to teach you how to escape an ambush, all that stuff. One of the most exciting courses I've ever seen, and one of the most relevant.
Oh, 100%. I was actually blessed to have been there for the very first one. And
yes.
I'll just say it was so much fun capturing that footage, man. It was just unreal to see what you guys were doing. And we did put there's going to be a lot of nice B-roll on this one. I'll tell you that right now, because we're going to put some nice stuff on. It was a lot of fun. So, and the thing is this, as much as it was fun, it also was an eye-opener on the tactics and strategies that you can utilize. Right. Yeah. And I think that's the key here, is that everything that you're going to learn, because look, we always get asked this question back home in Canada, Brian. I don't know if you guys get asked this in the US, but more like the stuff that you're going to learn around the world, is it all practical wherever you like? Is it practical all around the world? For example, like, pitting, for example, right? Somebody may ask, well, like, where is that skill going to be utilized, right? But they're only thinking at it from a box perspective, right? Like, you're not going to go on your local highway and just start pitting vehicles. This is for when you're with your VIP and you're under attack. And I think that's kind of more or less where you're looking at it. Am I correct on that end?
Kind of, but realistically, I've been in 2 contact vehicle scenarios, both of which were in Florida and both of which were in my civilian life.
Okay.
So, things have happened in EP, but I've been in 2 situations where I rolled through a stop sign, and the guy who has kids in the neighborhood was angry, and he tried to run me off the road. And I gave him as much as I could. And then I was like, I have to fight back.
Right.
And I
right.
back with him, push him, hit him and corner him.
Yes.
The same thing happened. I got off an exit late. Guy was in a big truck. This dude drove up on the side of my car in his big So understanding that any day you can get into a road rage incident where you might have to learn how to defend yourself and your family, baby on board with that vehicle, and actually have to pop your cherry and make contact. That's a real risk that we all deal with on a daily basis every single time we get into our vehicle, right? Not to mention the vehicle dynamic stuff. This stuff will save your life in the middle of a car accident because you'll know what you can and can't do with your vehicle.
No, that's a great point, man. That's a great point. And you said, like, you got to prepare for anything, anywhere, right? Yeah, I mean, look, let me give you an example. What happened last year? Last year, around this exact same weekend that we're about to approach right now, the Toronto International Film Festival, we had an individual that was working at a beautiful 5-star hotel. Now, at the same time he's working at that beautiful 5-star hotel, there is a very, very large event that is taking place, and there was a shooting in the VIP section of that event. It caused a lot of commotion.
Wait. That's impossible, bro. You guys don't have guns over there.
Oh, something happened, Byron. Something happened. I don't know where.
That guy had a gun?
I know.
Oh. Anyway.
Exactly. So something happened. And then what happened was at that 5-star hotel, there was also a shooting that exact same night. And the moral of the story, 2 shootings, man. The moral of the story is that you could be in a beautiful 5-star hotel, you can be in an event, you could be at church, you could be anywhere, and something could happen. And the key here is are you prepared? Do you know what to do in a situation? And I think that's the big value that a lot of this stuff that you expose us to is that you need to get ready, get the mindset ready, and then get the body ready for action in case something does happen.
And 100%, that's one of the problems. One of the tough things to approach with human beings is that if they haven't experienced it, they tend to think that it's just never going to happen. Like, why do you pay insurance on everything, right? Just because you haven't experienced it yet doesn't mean it's going to happen. I get sent hundreds. You guys, I do tactical protection reviews. I get sent hundreds of violent encounter videos every single day. And every single person in every single video of all these all the hundreds of thousands of people that will get victimized, like today, right? All of them were thinking, this will never happen to me. No one's ever going to kick my front door in. I'm just getting gas at the gas station. I'm just going to walk my kids to the thing. And every single one of them was thinking, had the false security civilians tend to have, which is if I never seen it happen, I don't have to prepare for it. But the real question is, how much do you love your family, your life? What's your reason for coming home? Because every single person in that VIP section, when those gunshots started ringing out, didn't think that was going to happen, but it did. It does every single day.
That's right, man. No, that's powerful.
And this isn't real quick too. And this ain't to make you paranoid. You will walk with more peace and confidence once you're prepared. That's the thing. This is to increase your relationship with reality and increase your overall confidence. And through competence, right? Confidence is accurate understanding of what you're capable of, which comes from relationship with self, which comes from training, relationship with self, right? The conversation and all that. So this 100%. You will have more peace.
Look, I'll tell you this. I love that you just said that because, Byron, as you're saying that, I was talking to somebody earlier in the week. By the way, that example that you just said can be applied to anything that you do. I'll give you an example. Both myself and yourself, we're very used to talking to large groups, large audiences. And even though there is a little, I know sometimes trickle of nerves and jitters, the minute you get on, you just start going because you're accustomed to doing that over and over and again. Exactly. So just like anything that you do in life, you need to prepare, you need to practice, and practice is where perfection comes into place. And it's not just something that you can just stop. Because you can get rusty, you know what I mean? And you can kind of forget. So I love that, man. I love that you were able to kind of push that together. So can someone still get tickets to the Protector Symposium 6.0? Because I do know you sell out a lot of these things very quickly.
We do, man. So for the driving portion, we only have 12 seats because I only have a certain amount of vehicles for that fleet. So, there are still some tickets available for the driving portion, but don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it. Those are going I think we might have already sold at least 8 of them. So for the driving portion, you got to pull the trigger. I think we're at about 50% for the in-person portion. So we max those classes out 15 per stick, 4 sticks. So it's something like 50, 60 people will get through the thing. 60, 70 people will get through the thing. And I think we're close to half capacity right now. So you can get on it because everyone about 30 days out starts buying all their tickets. That's what everybody.
Yes, that's true.
And then, yeah, man, for Fridays, for the first day of the event, which is usually the day that everyone comes, and you can buy a ticket for just that portion, just that Friday. But if you're coming over from, your hood, bro, come out, stay the weekend, kick it with your boy for a weekend, man. We change your life, I promise you.
Absolutely, man. And anyone can kind of get onto the website, protectorsymposium.com. And that'll bring you right to the landing page where you can click, fill your information out, and kind of get into the packages.
Yes.
Okay, that's amazing. So we're gonna put all the links with this, Byron, and also we're gonna put in some nice B-roll and marketing footage along to kind of tap along, so people kind of see some visuals that we've been talking about. But again, for those listening, this is something that I highly recommend. It's one of the go-tos that I think a lot of people need to start off with. To be honest with you, it was my first start. I'll tell you that right now is my first start. And look, a lot of people, Byron, you speak to a lot of people, and I'll tell you this: I don't proclaim whatsoever to be a security expert professional. What I am is a businessman, an entrepreneur that has a passion to help other people. And the vehicle that we use in our organization is that we bring on the people that are experts. We bring on the professionals. And as someone that has tasted the manna, right now, I can tell you, man. Yeah, I can tell you right now, this is something that I highly, highly, highly recommend. I think someone will leave that experience completely changed. And if anything, they might find that they are a protector. Because I'll tell you this right now, I tell the story to a lot of people. I did not discover that I was labeled as a protector until I actually put everything that I've done in my life. It was at your Symposium 4.0. I'm sitting in the theater and everyone's talking, and there's all these protectors everywhere, and they're all talking and referencing stories. And as they're talking, I just start going through this reflection in my life. It's like the game tapes going on since I was a kid. And I was thinking about all the things that I used to do and continue to doing. There's a fight, I'm running. We're on a cruise with my wife in the middle of dinner. A fight breaks out, and they do happen on cruises. A fight breaks out, bam, I'm gone. And my wife would tell me afterwards, what are you doing? Why do you do this all the time? And explain it. And I'm going through all this in Miami, and I'm realizing I'm a protector. And I don't think about it because I just do it. So I had that epiphany in Miami, and that is what happened to me. That is what happened to me, Byron. And that's someone this is the world that I'm in. I had that moment, and I am so thankful that I discovered that, because it's actually made me tap into it more than ever before right now, and help people see that, hey, you know what? You're a protector, whether you have ever thought about that or not. Exactly. So this is what the Protector Symposium 6.0 can do for you. Okay.
100%.
So I love it, man. And I'm excited for this.
Real quick. And so that's one of the things I talk about. My marketing team hates me because they're like, who's our ideal avatar? And I'm like, anyone with the protection DNA. The guy who watched his friend get picked on in 3rd grade, the guy who was a barista at Starbucks and stopped the fight outside the front door. Like, anyone who has the protection DNA. Yes, professionals, law enforcement agencies, all the boys come out, all the EP guys come out. But also all the people that are protectors. The mission is to multiply protectors in the world and give them the skills that they need, because you don't think about it. It's just part of who you are. Someone's picking on someone weaker than you. You're going to go and you're going to bring accountability to the environment. And that's what we want. We want more instant accountability in the environments that we live in, which is going to make the world a safer place. And I'm going to get you the tools, the team, we're going to get you the tools. And that's the game, man. That epiphany is awesome, dude. That's life-changing. That's what I'm talking about. And you can't unsee the stuff you see at these events. And so, yes, it's exposure is what it is. And so then you start to realize, wow, I'm capable of this. But man, if I really started to train this or looked at this is what I really could become. And it's exposure, and it opens your awareness up so much about this is what I can do with a vehicle. This is what I need to do. Your awareness changes, and then your world changes, because you can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unknow what you've already known. And then that hunger starts, and you really start, your life gets beautified because you integrate better habits and then you elevate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Byron, I've actually had some incredible friendships in the US with many people from the network piece, connecting. And again, the heart of the individual, even though I've met them a couple of times, I can call them brothers, sisters. because it's just that's the beauty of this, man. I love it. I'm getting excited right now myself, and I already know it all. You know what I mean about what this is about. Okay, look, this is fantastic. I will say this, Byron. I want you to do kind of guide people to this. So a lot of people are going to kind of get exposed to this right now for the first time. However, there have been people that I've spoken to that religiously follow a lot of the stuff that you put out, and it has actually prompted them to go out and do more like stuff like this. Can you just share with people how to find you? I know you're on all social media channels, but really you have a lot of different platforms. You have Protector Nation, you have you have EPL, Executive Protection Lifestyle, you have Bravo, you have all these. Where can someone find and capture a lot of the stuff that you talk about?
So the best place to find me, honestly, is going to be my home website, byronrodgersmotivation.com. That's like the hub for everything. But I do have a lot going on. You follow me on IG, you'll kind of see stuff about what I have going on. So the link is in the bio that can lead you anywhere you need to go. byronrodgersmotivation.com. That's the best place. Byron_Rodgers on IG, and then you can look me up on YouTube. Everything goes YouTube. But if you really want to understand it, we have the protectornation.com. When you go to protectornation.com, you can get tickets for the symposium, or you can join the community. That's our online platform. This is where you continue the event. So go get in there, get acquainted, post, talk to everyone. That's our social media platform for the Protector Nation that has the event, the Protector Symposium. And then you have the epspecialist.com website if you're in the executive protection industry, or if you're not and you just want to get some of the best training in the world, go to epspecialist.com and sign up for the hard skills intensive, the immersion course, or take some of the online courses. So everything I do has online courses that support it, videos that support it, because I want to be able to get skills and the message, but skills out to anyone in the world, no matter where they are. So we have a bunch of EP courses at EP Specialists. We have a bunch of real world protection courses at protectornation.com. You can get to both through my primary website.
I love that, man. Thank you so much for sharing that, man. That was fantastic. And again, I just can't wait for people to see this piece.
This podcast is brought to you by Executive Protection Lifestyle Canada. Make sure to drop by next week and don't forget to subscribe.